What happens when people who were taught that America is too expensive walk into one of its malls and stop checking the price tags? During the 2026 World Cup, ordinary shopping trips began exposing a country far more generous, convenient, and welcoming than the headlines suggested. The real surprise was not how much they bought. It was how quickly America made them question everything they had believed before arriving. Prices lost their power. A strange thing happened when World Cup visitors walked into American malls in 2026. People who had spent years treating every price tag like a warning suddenly began shopping with their shoulders relaxed. They picked up shirts without immediately checking the label, tried on shoes without calculating the damage, and walked toward the register with the calm confidence of someone buying socks at Costco instead of negotiating a peace treaty. That reaction says more about American retail culture than any giant sale sign ever could.
This carton of beer here costs $14 fucking dollars. $14 for 24 beers. That is so cheap.
Oh yeah.
But at the pubs, you still pay like $6 for a beer. Why is that? It's weird.
This is my favorite grocery store because their prices are so low, but I really don't know how they make any money. I'm gonna show you all some of the crazy deals they have. 4 salts for $5. 4 pastas for $5. 32 Pop-Tart pastries for $10. All this turkey for $5. Okay, those are just some of the deals. There's a ton more. Would you shop here? Do you think this grocery store makes any money?
Today, I take you to what might be one of the cheapest grocery stores on the planet. Seriously, I don't know how they do it. And if you have one of these within an hour of you, it is worth making the drive, especially if you buy for many people. 48 cents a pound. That should do it. 10 avocados. People always say that avocados go bad really quickly. I just put them in the fridge and they stay hard. And when I want them to ripen, I pull them out for 2 days. Oh, and we are at Winco Foods. Okay, we've got pears for 99 cents a pound, but I actually like these better. Still a really good deal. I went with 7 pears. And I don't use plastic bags. They're super wasteful. I'm just going to take everything home, wash it, and put it in my fridge anyway. Grabbing some romaine. Just going to get 1 sweet potato. I don't actually know which one this is, but it's one of these prices. This guy, I think it's $2.60. And that all was $37.
Across much of Europe, shopping in major cities often comes with a quiet sense of caution. A weekend on Oxford Street in London, the Champs-Élysées in Paris, or Kalverstraat in Amsterdam can be exciting, but nobody enters those districts expecting the prices to behave politely. Rent, labor costs, energy bills, and taxes all shape what eventually appears on the tag. European shoppers are also used to VAT already being included, so the number they see usually feels final. The price does not wink at them. It simply stands there with the confidence of a hotel minibar. American malls operate with a very different personality. The first number on the tag may only be the beginning. Then come the red clearance stickers, store-wide promotions, member discounts, digital coupons, holiday deals, outlet reductions, and the cheerful cashier who somehow finds one more code after everyone thought the math was finished. The total can fall so many times that the receipt begins to look like it is apologizing. This is where many visitors discover something the international headlines rarely capture. American consumer culture is often described as excessive, but inside a well-run mall, that same scale can work in the shopper's favor. Large chains buy in huge volumes. Retailers compete aggressively. Suburban locations have more space for inventory, clearance sections, and seasonal turnover. When stores need to move thousands of items quickly, the customer suddenly has leverage without saying a word. That does not mean everything in America is cheap, and it would be silly to pretend otherwise. Sales tax can surprise visitors because it is usually added at checkout, while some European countries display the full tax-inclusive price from the start. Yet once the discounts begin stacking, the final amount can still feel unusually forgiving. A family shopping for sneakers, casual clothes, or travel essentials may leave with several bags while spending what they expected to pay for one carefully chosen item back home. The cultural contrast is almost funny because the stereotype runs in the opposite direction. Many Europeans arrive after hearing that everyday life in America is financially punishing, commercialized, and designed to squeeze every last dollar from ordinary people. Then they find themselves standing beneath a "buy one, get one" sign, holding 2 jackets and wondering why the country they were warned about is currently helping them save money. That moment can be surprisingly emotional. Shopping without fear is not really about owning more things. It's about feeling that one ordinary afternoon does not have to become a financial calculation. For visitors who have spent years checking every label twice, that freedom feels light, generous, and deeply American. By the time they leave the mall, the bags are heavier, the budget is still breathing, and America has become much harder to dismiss. Regret gets refunded. American shopping has one strangely comforting message hidden behind the cash register. Making the wrong choice does not have to become a permanent family problem. Buy the wrong size, discover that the color turns radioactive under hotel lighting, or realize that the essential kitchen gadget has absolutely no business entering your suitcase, and many major retailers will simply let you bring it back under their stated return policy. That freedom can be more addictive than the discount itself.
So it looks like your favorite two online retailers, Walmart and Amazon, are changing the way they do online returns. Yep, they currently have what's called returnless refunds, which basically means if you're going to return something, you can keep the item. They figure, or I guess they decided that some items just aren't worth the trouble taken back. So instead of you sending them back or them paying for you to send them back, they're going to let you keep the item and they are still going to refund you your money. They basically said that shipping could possibly cost more than what the item is worth. So instead of going through the hassle, which would basically have them lose money versus making money, so instead of them losing money, they're going to let us, the consumer, keep the product and issue a refund. So that's Walmart and Amazon.
Hi, how's it going? Good.
What's going on? What's wrong with them?
We had an extra bag.
Okay, no problem. Just so you know, because this is perishable, I do have to throw it away.
Okay.
So in the future, if you could just be mindful about that, they're going to start cracking down on perishables being returned unless there's something wrong with them.
All right.
So I just need to scan your Costco card. Here you go.
All right, I appreciate it.
The National Retail Federation estimated that American consumers returned about $743 billion worth of merchandise in 2023, equal to roughly 14.5% of total retail sales. That number is enormous, but it also reveals how deeply returns are built into the American shopping system. Retailers expect people to reconsider. Customers expect stores to provide a reasonable exit. The entire relationship works more like a friendly trial period than a one-way door that locks the moment the receipt prints. For visitors from Europe, the difference becomes especially interesting inside physical stores. European Union rules generally provide a 14-day right of withdrawal for many online and distance purchases. But there is no automatic EU-wide right to return a perfectly good item bought in person merely because someone changed their mind. Individual shops may allow it, and many do, yet the policy often belongs to the retailer rather than the law. In Paris, Milan, or Berlin, a shopper therefore learns to ask before buying, because "I reconsidered this jacket" may receive a polite smile rather than a refund. Large American chains frequently turn that uncertainty into reassurance. Clear deadlines, printed conditions, gift receipts, exchanges, store credit, and refunds reduce the emotional weight of the decision. The customer does not need to study a sweater like it is a mortgage application. They can take it home, look at it under normal light, and discover whether it actually belongs in their life. That changes how people behave long before they reach the return counter. A generous policy creates permission to experiment with unfamiliar brands, bolder colors, or products that would otherwise remain on the shelf. Retail experts call this risk reduction, although ordinary shoppers may describe it more honestly as, "Fine, I'll try it." American customer service turns hesitation into movement, and movement fills shopping bags. There is also something distinctly warm about a system that assumes people occasionally make mistakes without being irresponsible. The cashier does not need a tragic backstory about why the jeans failed. Nobody calls a manager because the blue appeared bluer at home. The process can be so calm that a visitor arriving with a carefully rehearsed explanation may finish the transaction before reaching the best part of the speech. Naturally, policies vary, deadlines matter, and used or restricted products may be excluded. Retail fraud also costs American businesses billions, which explains why some chains have tightened their rules. Even so, the broader culture remains unusually customer-friendly. Preserve trust, solve the inconvenience, and give shoppers a reason to return to the store willingly. That may be the real secret behind America's retail charm. Discounts make people enter, but low-risk shopping makes them relax. Once customers know one imperfect purchase will not follow them home like a parking ticket, browsing becomes playful again. The return counter looks ordinary, yet it sells something surprisingly valuable. confidence. Built for everyone. The most persuasive sales pitch inside an American mall may have nothing to do with merchandise. It could be the bench beside the escalator, the elevator large enough for a stroller, the restroom that does not require a treasure map, or the entrance that allows an older shopper to move through without asking 3 strangers for help. That quiet convenience has a powerful effect on visitors because it changes who gets to enjoy the day.
I'm thrilled to say that Walmart just announced that they're rolling out specialized shopping carts for people with disabilities at every one of their US stores. These carts, called Caroline's carts, are designed to help those with mobility challenges and special needs have a more comfortable and convenient shopping experience. You know, as a professional speaker and autistic advocate, I often work with companies similar to Walmart in terms of professional development on neurodiversity in the workplace. If Walmart ever sees this, I'd be open to discussing how we can provide that professional development to their workplace. It's amazing to see such a big retailer prioritize accessibility and inclusivity. I hope this move inspires other businesses to do the same. Have you tried Caroline's carts? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you, Walmart, for supporting our disability community. If you'd like me to speak in person or virtually at your next event, you can go to carriemagro.com/contact for more details. Thanks, everyone.
The Americans with Disabilities Act became federal law in 1990, pushing public spaces and businesses across the United States toward better accessibility. Implementation is never perfect, and older buildings still present challenges, but large modern malls commonly reflect a clear expectation. Customers will arrive with different bodies, ages, families, and mobility needs. Wide entrances, curb cuts, accessible parking, elevators, handrails, family restrooms, seating areas, and smooth indoor walkways are treated as part of the building rather than thoughtful extras added after somebody complains. This is where the American mall reveals a surprisingly humane side. It does not demand that every visitor arrive young, energetic, and prepared to climb stairs like they're competing on a game show. A grandparent can stop and rest. A parent can move a stroller without folding it every 15 minutes. Someone using a wheelchair can navigate several stores without turning the afternoon into a military operation involving side doors and apologetic staff members. The contrast is especially noticeable in historic European shopping districts. Central Paris, Rome, Lisbon, and parts of London are filled with beautiful old buildings whose narrow doors, steep steps, and compact interiors belong to another architectural era. Their character deserves admiration, but a 17th century staircase was never consulted about modern accessibility. Retrofitting those spaces can be expensive, technically difficult, or restricted by preservation rules. America developed much of its suburban retail later, when businesses had more land and fewer ancient walls dictating the floor plan. The result can look oversized to European eyes, yet that extra space often serves a practical purpose. A mall corridor wide enough to resemble a quiet airport terminal gives families room to move without constantly negotiating passage. Seating appears before exhaustion becomes a crisis. Air conditioning keeps the temperature steady even when summer outside feels hot enough to bake cornbread on the hood of a pickup truck. What makes this culture so appealing is the absence of embarrassment. People can use a ramp, take an elevator, sit down, feed a child, or ask for assistance without feeling that they are interrupting the normal flow of the place. They are already included in that flow. That principle reaches deeper than retail. A society feels welcoming when ordinary spaces reduce the number of small battles people must fight just to participate. Shopping becomes easier, but so does spending time together. Families stay longer because nobody's being quietly worn down by the building. International media often shows America through its loudest arguments, while this gentler form of practicality receives little attention. It is difficult to turn a clean restroom, an automatic door, or a well-placed bench into breaking news. Yet these details are exactly what visitors remember after several weeks in the country, because comfort has a way of becoming visible only after someone finally provides it. By then, the mall no longer feels like a warehouse full of stores. It feels like a public living room where America has already pulled out a chair, Sunday still shops. In America, the mall does something that feels almost suspiciously generous to many European visitors. It stays useful when ordinary people are actually free. That detail sounds small until someone has spent years organizing errands around store hours. In Germany, Sunday shopping is still heavily restricted by state laws, with most retail stores closed except for limited exemptions and a handful of specially approved shopping Sundays. Austria follows a similarly strict pattern, while parts of France and Switzerland also keep tighter limits on Sunday retail than most Americans would expect. Those rules grew from long-standing traditions protecting rest, family time, and workers, and they remain an important part of local life. Then visitors arrive in the United States and discover that Sunday afternoon can involve buying sneakers, replacing a phone charger, getting lunch, picking up a birthday gift, and letting the children burn off enough energy to qualify for their own zip code. American malls are often open 7 days a week, with many operating into the evening. Exact hours vary, especially after the pandemic, yet the broader culture is unmistakable. Retail tries to fit itself around the customer's schedule, instead of asking the customer to reorganize life around a locked door. For people attending World Cup matches, traveling between host cities, or working unpredictable hours, that flexibility feels less like convenience and more like rescue. The appeal comes from something deeply practical. A vacation day should not require military planning just to replace a broken pair of sunglasses. A parent should not have to choose between work and buying school clothes. A traveler arriving late in Dallas, Miami, or Los Angeles can still find food, medicine, clothing, and basic electronics without waiting for Monday morning like the entire city has gone into sleep mode. This is where American retail becomes strangely addictive. The mall is always standing by, brightly lit and fully awake, like a dependable aunt who has snacks, extra batteries, and absolutely no interest in hearing why anyone forgot the gift. It removes friction from ordinary life so quietly that visitors may not notice how much they rely on it until they return home and meet a metal shutter at 6:05 p.m. The difference does not mean American schedules are automatically better, because longer hours can place pressure on retail workers, and many European countries intentionally protect downtime. Yet from the customer's side, America offers a form of freedom that feels wonderfully direct. When life creates a problem, someone is probably still open. That availability changes the emotional meaning of shopping. It stops being another task squeezed into a narrow window and becomes something people can fold naturally into the day. A match ends, dinner follows. Someone notices a sale, and suddenly the evening gains another chapter. International coverage often presents American consumer culture as restless or excessive, but visitors living through it may see something warmer. They see businesses trying to remain present, useful, and ready when families need them. The bright storefronts are selling products, of course, yet they are also selling time back to the customer. After several weeks in America, that may be the hardest luxury to give up. Parking costs nothing. The first discount at an American mall often appears before anyone enters the store. It has no coupon code, no loyalty card, and no red sticker hanging from the windshield. The car simply rolls into a wide parking lot, finds a space, and stays there for hours without a meter, quietly eating the shopping budget. To many Americans, free mall parking feels so ordinary that it barely deserves a thought. To visitors accustomed to shopping in dense European cities, however, it can feel like someone removed the admission fee from the entire afternoon. Consider how retail fits into cities such as Amsterdam, Paris, or central London. These places were shaped long before the family SUV, so shopping districts often sit beside narrow streets, limited curb space, paid garages, and public transportation networks designed to carry people into the center. That arrangement has real advantages: walkable neighborhoods, lively streets, and fewer reasons to drive. Yet it also means that arriving by car can become its own carefully budgeted activity before a single shirt has been purchased. American suburban malls grew from a different landscape. They were built around mobility, family errands, and the assumption that shoppers might leave carrying more than one canvas tote and a baguette. The parking lot therefore became part of the service. It tells customers that they can bring children, grandparents, strollers, winter coats, and enough purchases to make the trunk resemble a game of Tetris without worrying about the meter expiring during lunch. Mall of America in Minnesota, one of the country's largest shopping and entertainment complexes, provides more than 12,000 parking spaces across its ramps and lots. That number sounds less like parking and more like a small town where every resident owns the same hobby. The scale may look extravagant, but its purpose is easy to understand once thousands of families arrive on the same weekend. Free parking also changes the psychology of shopping. When every extra hour does not add another charge, people stop racing through the building. They compare products, eat together, return to a store they passed earlier, and let children enjoy the entertainment areas. The mall gains time, while the customer avoids feeling that an invisible taximeter is running beneath the pavement. That relaxed pace helps explain why the American mall can become so appealing during a long World Cup trip. Visitors are already navigating unfamiliar roads, match schedules, luggage, and crowded host cities. Finding a place where the car can remain safely parked while everyone eats, shops, cools down, and reorganizes the day feels wonderfully uncomplicated. America has taken an ordinary errand and removed one more small source of pressure. Naturally, enormous parking lots require land, encourage driving, and do not suit every city. European urban planning often makes a deliberate choice to support trains, buses, cycling, and compact neighborhoods instead. The two systems reflect different histories rather than one simple contest with a universal winner. Still, the American version offers a kind of practical generosity that visitors immediately feel. The mall does not begin by charging them for arriving, staying too long, or needing space for a family-sized vehicle. It opens the gate, gives them room, and lets the day unfold without watching the clock. By evening, the trunk is full, everyone has eaten, and the parking bill remains exactly where it began, at zero. America cooled everything. There's a moment inside an American mall when summer suddenly loses the argument. Outside, the parking lot is shimmering, the pavement looks ready to fry an egg, and the World Cup crowd is moving through the heat with the slow determination of people carrying invisible backpacks. Then the doors slide open, cool air rolls forward, and everyone's walking speed mysteriously returns to normal. That temperature change may seem like background comfort, but it explains why American shopping centers become so easy to love. They offer more than somewhere to buy things. They create a reliable indoor climate where an entire afternoon can continue without weather controlling every decision. And according to the US Energy Information Administration, roughly 9 out of 10 American households use some form of air conditioning. That figure reflects a broader national expectation that indoor spaces should remain usable during hot weather. Stores, restaurants, movie theaters, airports, and malls are usually designed around that assumption. In cities such as Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, and Miami, cooling is treated less like a luxury and more like the roof staying attached to the building. The European experience can be very different. Air conditioning remains far less common in homes across countries, including Germany, Britain, and France, where buildings were shaped by milder historical climates and older construction. Even after hotter summers became more frequent, many shops and apartments still relied on open windows, fans, shutters, or the ancient European strategy of hoping the sun develops manners. Those methods have their own charm, but they feel considerably less romantic during a packed summer afternoon. For international visitors following the 2026 World Cup across American host cities, the mall can therefore become an unexpected refuge. It allows families to cool down, eat, regroup, charge their phones, and recover between activities without paying for a hotel room or ordering another meal simply to justify sitting indoors. A place originally built for retail quietly becomes part rest stop, part community center, and part giant refrigerator with better lighting. The cleverness lies in how comfort changes behavior. Heat makes people impatient, tired, and eager to leave. A steady indoor temperature gives them time to browse properly, compare products, and enjoy being together. Nobody is rushing through a shoe store while feeling as though their shirt has entered a separate weather emergency. Children calm down, older relatives regain their energy, and the whole outing becomes something people remember fondly, rather than endure politely. American malls understand that customers are human before they are consumers. People stay where their bodies feel comfortable, where seating does not feel rationed, and where the air itself seems to say, "Take your time, the sun can wait outside." That is the kind of detail international headlines rarely capture. It is difficult to build a dramatic news segment around functioning air conditioning, yet daily life is often judged through these quiet comforts. Visitors may arrive expecting America to feel harsh, exhausting, and relentlessly commercial. Instead, they find a country that has spent decades engineering ordinary spaces around ease, convenience, and relief. After several weeks, the cool air begins to represent something larger. It becomes part of America's promise that public life should remain comfortable even when the weather refuses to cooperate. The mall doors close behind them, the heat stays outside, and the country feels remarkably considerate. The mall became fun. The cleverest thing American malls ever did was stop behaving like places where people merely buy pants. Somewhere along the way, they added movie theaters, indoor rides, arcades, bowling lanes, aquariums, restaurants, children's play areas, and enough dessert options to make restraint feel like an outdated European custom. Shopping became the excuse, while the real product was an entire afternoon. That distinction matters because entertainment changes the emotional rhythm of spending. When a mall offers nothing beyond stores, every minute carries a quiet question. Are we buying something or wasting time? Once the building becomes a destination, browsing no longer feels like indecision. Families can eat, walk, watch a movie, let children play, and return to a store later without treating the day like a mission planned by the Pentagon. Mall of America offers the loudest example. The Minnesota complex covers about 6 million square feet and contains more than 500 stores alongside an indoor theme park and aquarium. That is less a shopping center than a small city that misplaced its mayor. Yet even ordinary American malls borrow the same idea on a smaller scale. Give people several reasons to come, then make the transitions between those reasons effortless. Many European cities separate these activities naturally. In central Paris, someone may shop along Boulevard Haussmann, walk several blocks for lunch, then take the metro to a cinema. In Milan, shopping, dining, and entertainment are woven beautifully into the city itself. That pattern has enormous charm, but it also requires navigation, weather, tickets, reservations, enough energy to keep changing locations. American malls gather those pieces beneath one roof, as though the country looked at a family itinerary and said, let us remove 3 transfers and a raincoat. For World Cup visitors moving through unfamiliar host cities, this setup can become dangerously appealing. A free afternoon no longer needs a complicated plan. One group can split without truly separating. Teenagers disappear into an arcade, parents compare sneakers, grandparents settle near a coffee shop, and everyone reunites around food without exchanging 17 messages asking where the others have gone. The addictive quality comes from this freedom to drift. Nobody must commit to a single activity, and no small change of mood ruins the outing. Hungry people can eat, tired people can sit, restless children can move. Someone who suddenly remembers a missing phone charger can solve the problem before dessert arrives. The building absorbs every minor emergency with the calm efficiency of a suburban mother carrying snacks, tissues, and an extra sweater. This is why American malls can feel warmer than their commercial purpose suggests. They give families neutral ground where generations with completely different interests can spend time together without demanding identical enthusiasm. Grandpa does not need to love the sneaker store, and a 12-year-old does not need to admire cookware for 40 minutes. Everyone gets a small piece of the day. Critics often describe American consumer culture as excessive, yet visitors may see a more generous idea underneath the scale. America makes leisure easy to share. It turns errands into memory, convenience into togetherness, and an ordinary mall into a place people are genuinely reluctant to leave. Perhaps the biggest surprise wasn't the discounts, the giant malls, or even the customer service. It was realizing how different America feels when you experience it yourself instead of through headlines. Sometimes one ordinary shopping trip reveals more about a country than years of opinions ever could. So what part of American shopping culture impressed you the most, or what would you love to experience first? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that uncover the America many people never expect to find.